and welcome back to the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition's Small Business Forum. I'm your host, David Dadekian, a small business owner here in Rhode Island. I own Eat Drink Rhode Island, and our guest this week is Kim Paull. Kim, welcome to the forum. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is great. I'm excited to talk.
Kim is a burnout resilience and performance coach, helping small business owners and entrepreneurs. And so, the forum, we talk about a lot of different things here. Some things are very policy and what, take care of state issues. But this is, something that I think will really benefit a lot of small businesses in talking about. I was just looking at your bio here, Kim. It's really fantastic what you've been doing for so many years. You're full-time at Blue Cross Blue Shield. Where you develop training, you facilitate the Great Leadership Series at the North Kingston Chamber of Commerce. You have your podcast that you co-host, Now That You See It, and we'll link all that up down below. But I and you're a parent too. I saw that as well, and that's I know that's a full-time job too. I'm aware of that. It's great to see all the things that you've been doing, and I just really wanted to talk to you about how you can help small businesses here in Rhode Island, what you see. I looked at some of the resilience things that you mentioned on your website. I thought that interesting to talk about the a dysregulated nervous system and people making decisions like that. So please tell us a bit, give us your elevator pitch, your quick hello, here you are.
So I'm Kim Paull. I run Kim Paull Coaching, and I am a burnout resilience and performance coach. And from a small business perspective, I think the thing that I saw that I can't unsee, that I wish others saw, is sometimes when we're trying to be good managers, we're burning our people out. And when we burn our people out, when we stress them and stretch them in a way that doesn't work for them, that doesn't make them feel like they matter or they know what's going on, who's in charge, what's the process, that is your marketing engine in the trash. Because when our team cultures are thriving, when people feel like they matter, they know what to do, they know what their jobs are, they know how to access good decisions, and they trust the people who are making decisions. They are your marketing engine. Customers stay with you. They stay with you. The cost of turnover is high. People know this, right? Yeah. And we know that engaged teams are 23% more profitable than unengaged teams or less engaged teams. And we know that a 5% increase in customer retention leads to a 25% increase in profits. And so if you can keep customers, if you can have your team so excited to work for you and so energized by the mission of the work, then they are the ones who are giving delightful experiences to your customers without you even trying. You don't need to buy ads. You have these people in your place. They are your ads. And people enjoy working with them because rather than being sold a solution, people are having their problems solved. And so they feel like, oh, I as a customer am seen, because when you as an employee are seen, that's how you treat other people too. So that's the big idea. And that's what I coach and train folks on.
That's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So so obviously we'll look up down below all your information, everything, so people can find you. For those of you listening on the podcast, you're not watching and don't have access to the links, it's Kim Paull with 2 L's. So KIMPaull.com. If you can't see the show notes to link, but we'll have those all linked up down below there. How do people decide, how do they first make that contact with you?
They can contact me through the website or at hello@kimpaull.com. But before you even talk about what do you put in the email box or how do you find me, I think the question that I'd love folks to ask is what's happening right now the best you can do?
That's what I was wondering.
Do you want more? Is what's happening right now where you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years? And also what we know is when nothing changes, nothing changes. Sometimes, so it might just be continuing on here. Are you waking up being like, oh, I'm not really excited to go to work. I can tell my people are a little confused and I just don't know how to have the conversation. I don't know how to give feedback that leaves people both whole and inspired to do better. And without me feeling like, oh, I've been either a jerk or I've been weak. I've been, meek, not said the thing that needs to be said. How do I do that well? And we know that when people are seeing these signs of, for instance, if you're noticing gossip, if you're noticing people sort of languishing, what we'd call also self-sabotaging, just like they're not getting this stuff done. I thought I told them this. I said that already. I can't believe this is not happening. These are all signs that no one's fault, but your culture is costing you and you need help. And support can come in the form of a lot of different things. What we try to do is break it down very simply to two things. One, how do you have great relationships with your people? And two, how do you help them know that there are great decisions being made here? It's clear. They know who's in charge. They know what their job is. There's process. And those two things, if you can maximize those two things, that is your culture that drives your profitability, that drives your revenue, and that drives your resilience as a company.
Excellent points. Excellent points. Wow. Yeah. So you mentioned before when you were talking, turnover, training, all these expenses that a lot of small businesses take on, and how expensive that can be for these small businesses. How have you seen what you do help with retention and things of that nature?
You know, I don't know if you've ever had this experience of walking into a place and feeling surrounded by people, or sometimes even in your own family, surrounded, like you're never
Yeah.
alone,
Yeah.
but you feel lonely. That experience of being surrounded by people who are supposed to understand you, your manager, your peers, the boss's boss's boss, and not being seen and known is a profoundly de-energizing and dispiriting experience. When we can work with folks to make small behavior change that have profound differences in impact for people, all of a sudden people want to be, they give you the chance, they give you the benefit of the doubt. They take initiative, they listen more clearly to what you're saying and ask better follow-up questions. And I'll give this one example that is an old story, but so profound when we talk about one of the core components of a thriving culture, which is psychological safety. So when people feel psychologically safe, it doesn't mean the environment is lax. It means that they are safe to make mistakes and talk about it, and there are high standards at the same time. It's one of, Google has studied this and found this psychological safety to be the number one determining factor in whether a team is highly productive and motivated to stay together, like they have a healthy working relationship and they get stuff done. So when we talk about psychological safety, a story that I often tell is, in developing this concept of psychological safety, Harvard Business School with Mass General Hospital in Boston looked at teams of nurses, and they wanted to see, they didn't have this concept yet, but they wanted to see what determines error rates among nurses in a premier hospital system. And they went around and studied it, and they found that the teams with the best cultures had the highest error rates, which doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Why would the healthiest cultures have the highest error rates? And it's because they're more willing to talk about it. It's not that their error rates are actually very high. It's because
Reported
maybe on
higher.
the other teams, they're holding back. They don't feel safe. And so when we are able to develop a psychologically safe and thriving culture, not only do people want to stay around, not only are they your marketing engine, not only is work so much more fun every day, you hear about the things you need to hear about. When you don't have a safe environment, all those things that suddenly down the line are like the fires, the customer problems, the systems going down here, you knew about them earlier because people felt safe to say, hey, we have a problem. And they know they're not going to get attacked. They know you're going to say, great, thanks so much for bringing that to me. What is the
Yeah.
system we need to put on this so that we improve together as a team?
Wow, that's fascinating. That's
It's
absolutely fascinating. It makes a lot of sense.
fascinating.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It's like like I just said, it's about reporting. You feel more comfortable reporting. You feel more comfortable in pointing out the errors. The even you yourself make. That's fascinating. It's really fascinating. Um, so when you say the culture, and so the small business owner is taken care of. In that case, hospital, it's a larger business, but still, a small business owner is taking care of their team, and they think that's taking care of their business. Is that the same thing? Or can it be two different things? I mean, because I'm just trying to think about instances where sometimes what's good for the business isn't good for the team, and vice versa.
Yeah. It can be really, really confusing. There are companies who have said, listen, we can serve our shareholders, our customers, and our employees, and we are often going to need to make trade-offs.
Yeah.
If the needs conflict, what do we do? And there are companies like, for instance, Southwest Airlines So one of the most profitable, efficient, and beloved, although, man, I know we've all been through it in the airline industry lately. However,
Yeah.
I've had relatively positive experiences with them. But one of the fastest growing and just really like hallmarks of well-studied culture, they said, we are going to serve when these three conflict, we serve our employees first because everything else follows from that. Yes, there will be trade-offs. There are going to be times when your customers are pissed off because you chose something that's better for your employees. If we're able to say to our customers, this is why, and
Yeah.
you will experience such better customer service because our employees rested. For instance, this is from an airline perspective. We're going to prioritize the health, safety, and well-being of our employees. Because do you want to be served hot liquid by a cranky stewardess who
Right. Yeah.
hasn't slept in 3 days? No. Let's prioritize this because, man, even if your flight is delayed a little bit, you will be safe and you will be welcomed. You will feel like you specifically as a customer matter.
Excellent.
And then on down for shareholders too. Same
Right.
ideas of trade-offs.
Yeah.
That
No,
like, and
absolutely.
the idea being that we actually are choosing our shareholders when we choose the employees because they're serving the customers and that drives profitability. But if it's the other way around, it's a self-defeating cycle. It's just,
Sure.
it will spiral downward.
Can you talk about how, specifically small businesses here in Rhode Island, how do you help them make these decisions? How do you help them make these changes?
Yeah. So there's a variety of ways to do it, but the shortest answer is we come in and I come in and run trainings. We also have experiences where we can do one-on-one coaching for folks that need some support around managerial or leadership behaviors, how to like really focus on being the manager your team needs. And I say that because we know that, yes, I can come in and train a whole team. I can train a whole staff, a department, a branch. And also, we know that 70% of the difference in engagement for employees comes down to one relationship, and that's the manager. And what's so interesting is people are often promoted to be a manager when they've either lasted a long time in the job or they have performed well in the content of their area. So for instance, you're a fantastic plumber, and then all of a sudden you become in charge of all the plumbers.
Right.
Nobody taught you how to be in charge of all the plumbers. Nobody taught you the very specific and real skill set of managing, which is
Yeah.
different from if you're managing financial analysts. It's not financially analyzing. It's very different. And that's a specific skill set that can be taught. We can teach people how to experience and give other people the sense of experiencing mattering. And I see mattering, I say it often because it's very different from, for instance, we talk about belonging and inclusion. Those are important. Mattering is different. And mattering, and I want it feeling significant. And I'm taking this from a number of researchers, including Zach Mercurio, who has been leading studies on this. But when we help people feel like they are specifically seen for their strengths and they are noticed, their level of engagement skyrockets. And what's so critical here is that this doesn't take company policies. This doesn't take big systemic changes. This is one-to-one in a relationship. This is you as a manager noticing, hey, you were mentioning this was really hard last week. How is that going this week? The magic of being remembered. And I didn't make that up. I'm pulling that quote again from Zach Mercurio. He's a real wonderful thinker on this. And it's one of the pieces that we bring in is how to teach mattering. The other half of this, though, is it's not just the relationship, which is so important, but it's not only that. You can feel like you matter. You can feel significant. You can feel seen. If you don't know what your job is, if you don't know who is making decisions, if you don't know how your work connects to the overall mission, none of that actually matters. You need both. And so, yes, we run trainings on this. I'm also doing, if people want to just get a taste of it, I'm working with the North Kingstown Chamber of Commerce on a series all year long to teach this. And we're having our next round. Don't worry, you haven't missed anything, on April 7th. And so folks can go to the northkingstown.com and sign up for a spot there. And we're doing it on April 7th in July and then again in October.
Great.
So we have a number of opportunities coming up.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for that information. Yeah, we'll link, as I said before, we'll link all that up down below. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I got a little bit of a cold, so I apologize for my voice. But I did want to just touch on that one thing that I mentioned at the beginning when I was reading through your bio information about regulation and making decisions from survival mode, I saw you say on your website. And I think a lot of small business owners feel that way
Yeah.
often. I think that's a typical thing for someone who owns a small business. What do you see there? How do you work there?
In helping people overcome that sense of survival
Yeah,
mode.
yeah,
Man, all I gotta say is just because it's normal doesn't mean it's optimal. Just because it's
right.
normal doesn't mean it has to be normalized. Doesn't
Yep.
mean it's okay for us. How many of us are in survival mode often? I mean, we just went through, as of this recording, we just went through a like once in a God willing, once
Hopefully,
in
yeah,
like a decade kind of storm. But the
yeah,
whole state shut down. And like not just human beings, but especially our parents who's like the schools were canceled for a week. How are we all doing? There is no way we are all like not partially in survival mode. Sometimes this is just how it goes. And
yeah.
also, it is not how it always has to be. So what I often see people doing is noticing I'm surviving. You ask people how they're doing. It is what it is, living the dream, all these little phrases we use. And what I notice about that is when you dig a little deeper, there's often some goalposts that people are looking for of I just got to get through this deliverable. I just got to get through this season. I just got to get through this month. I just got to get through this school year. I just got to get through to my kids are 18 and out of the house. And let me tell you, that day never really comes, even if it actually
Right.
does come.
Yeah.
Right? We are constantly moving goalposts. And if we train ourselves to make it okay to be in survival mode, we will always accept survival mode as our cap. That's it. That's all we can do. And so what we teach people is the hedonic treadmill and hedonic adaptation, meaning you just get used to where you are. And when you achieve that thing you're looking for, like, I just need that promotion. Just need that salary increase. I just need this new job. You're happy for like 72 hours. And then it goes back to baseline.
Yeah.
In order to reset your hedonic level, your true sense of like fulfillment and make it bigger no matter where you are, you need to change the way you relate both to people and to yourselves. And so what we talk about is, yes, we're going to talk about team behaviors. I'm also going to talk to the managers themselves and the individuals themselves about what life is like at home, what life is like in their relationships, what life is like at work, because often these things are happening everywhere. So we talk about a couple of different models of the manager. Are you the perfecter? Are you the protector? Are you the nice one? Are you the hammer? Are you the invisible one? We have all kinds of little ways of describing these behaviors that sound good, right? We're being good.
Right.
We're protecting our people from drama. We're never really saying like what we really feel because we might hurt them. If it's happening at work, it's happening at home. If it's happening at work relationships, it's happening in your personal relationships.
Hmm.
And so we help people get out of survival mode broadly, not just at work. And often it is just focusing on the work that helps them open up and go, oh my God,
Yeah. Right.
this is how I am as a spouse, as a parent, as a friend. And so a lot of things start to change all at once, which is pretty cool.
Fascinating. Wow.
It's
That's
fascinating.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. This has been a great conversation. I really appreciate your
You're
reaching out to
welcome.
the coalition to talk with us. Anything you want to add before we wrap up?
No, I'll just say that one of the great things about being a coach is I help take people from good to great. You don't have to be in a really tough situation, although I can help in that too. You can just be in a place where you say, I want better for myself and my team. And truly, small changes make huge differences. So reach out, have a conversation. I do both individual and group training and group speaking. I'd be happy to come.
That's great. Thank you. So yes, if you're a small business out there, you're looking for resilience training, feeling a little burnt out, Kim Paull, KIMPAULL.com. And like I said, I'll link it all up down below. Kim, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you. It was great to see you. Bye.
Thanks again for watching or listening, however you get your podcasts. As always, you can follow the coalition on all the socials. rispc.org is our website, and we'll see you next time on the forum. Take care.